The laughter started before he even knew what was happening, light and careless, drifting across the bright cafe like something harmless, but it cut deeper than anyone realized. Ethan Rowland stood near the window with the sun spilling over his shoulders, holding a paper cup of coffee he did not remember ordering, unaware that this ordinary daytime moment was about to reopen old wounds, challenge quiet assumptions, and ultimately change several lives forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of human decency, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel Kindness Spark. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. Ethan had not planned to be here. He was a single father of two, a man whose life revolved around school drop-offs, packed lunches, and evenings spent helping with homework at a small kitchen table washed in afternoon light. Since losing his wife 3 years earlier to a sudden illness, his world had narrowed, not out of bitterness, but out of devotion. His children, Noah and Clara, were his compass. Everything else felt like background noise. Friends often said he deserved happiness again, that he was too young to close the door on love, but grief had taught him patience and fear in equal measure. The blind date was not his idea. It was arranged by co-workers who mistook his quiet nature for loneliness and his routine for emptiness. They framed it as harmless, even generous, choosing a cheerful cafe downtown where sunlight bounced off white walls and potted plants. They did not tell him everything. They did not tell him about the whispers, the side glances, or the cruel curiosity that sometimes followed the woman they had invited. Her name was Maribel Cruz, and she arrived a few minutes late, stepping into the cafe as if bracing herself against an invisible wind. The day was warm, her dress soft and floral, her hair neatly pulled back. She carried herself with a careful dignity, the kind learned from years of being seen too much and understood too little. Her body was large, unapologetically so, and it had made her the subject of jokes and judgments long before she learned how to protect her heart. Maribel had agreed to the date after weeks of hesitation. She worked as a children's librarian, spending her days surrounded by stories that promised magic and kindness, even when real life felt less forgiving. She told herself this was just coffee, just daylight conversation, nothing more. Still, as she walked toward the table, she sensed it, the subtle shift in the room, the way eyes lingered a second too long. Ethan looked up when she approached, and in that moment, something quiet happened. There was no shock, no disappointment, no smirk. Just recognition, not of her body, but of her humanity. He stood, instinctively polite, offering a gentle smile shaped by years of patience and fatherhood. To him, she was not a setup or a joke. She was a person who had shown up. What neither of them knew was that several co-workers sat nearby, pretending to be absorbed in their phones, waiting for a reaction they could later retell with laughter. They expected discomfort, maybe a rushed excuse. They underestimated the man grief had shaped. The conversation unfolded slowly, naturally, bathed in afternoon light. They spoke about books, about children, about how life rarely followed the neat outlines people imagined. Ethan talked about his kids with a softness that revealed his heart without effort. Maribel listened, really listened, the way someone does when they know what it means to be overlooked. She shared her love for stories and the way children responded to honesty more than perfection. Time passed unnoticed, coffee cups emptied, and the tension others had anticipated simply never arrived. Still, Maribel carried the weight of experience. She noticed the glances, the suppressed laughter. From the corner. She had lived this before. She knew how these moments ended. Her shoulders stiffened. Her smile practiced restraint, preparing for the inevitable polite goodbye. She told herself not to hope, because hope had been expensive in the past. When Ethan finally sensed the undercurrent in the room, the unkind energy humming beneath the surface, something inside him shifted. He understood then that this date had been orchestrated not as a kindness, but as entertainment. The realization did not embarrass him, it angered him, quietly, deeply. He did not raise his voice, he did not create a scene. Instead, he did something far more powerful. He turned his attention fully to Maribel, the way a father listens to a child who matters more than the world. His posture straightened, his expression calm but resolute. In that bright cafe, under the honest light of day, he spoke with a clarity that silenced the room. He spoke about loss, about how love had taught him that bodies change, circumstances change, but character endures. He spoke about raising children and wanting them to grow up in a world where kindness was not conditional. He spoke about how attraction begins with respect, and how dignity is not something anyone has the right to take away. His words were not rehearsed, not dramatic. They were simply true. The laughter died instantly. Conversations at nearby tables faded. Even the barista paused. Maribel felt tears well before she realized she was crying, not from pity, but from relief, from being seen without explanation or apology. Ethan did not know if this date would lead to romance. That was never the point. What mattered was that in that moment,